Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Wisdom and Wellness. My guest today, we've already been laughing since you got here. Today we've got one of the best photographers in South Africa, Xavier, aka Xavier, aka, can I say the other one?
You can.
aka Frankie. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh my God, only my family calls me Frankie, especially when I'm in travel.
Yeah.
So now we're family now. So,
Okay, are we family
yeah,
now?
we're family now.
So can I call you Frankie throughout?
All good.
Okay, great. Now, let's talk about your name, Xavier, Xavier. Where do you come from?
So I was born in Peru.
Okay.
Still born in Peru. So, and so my first name is Francisco.
Yeah.
My second name is Xavier, Francisco Javier. But in South Africa, I've been here for 30 years on and off. So if I go Francisco Javier, people are just going to get lost.
Yeah, like, what are you talking about?
What language are you speaking,
Yeah.
So I'll just stick to Xavier. My brand is by Xavier. And yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, and I know, because we've spoken quite a lot and we've worked together. You started out, and I think you're back to it now, as a musician.
Yes.
Talk to me about that. How did music come to you? How did that career go about?
So I come from a very artistic family on my dad's side. My whole family is in the film industry, the music industry in my country.
So you weren't a shocker?
No,
Okay.
no, it's like it's not like where did this guy come from? Really,
Okay, it's just like, okay,
My
welcome.
grandmother was a musician.
Ah.
My uncle's probably the most famous MC and TV presenter in the country.
Really?
My cousin's like there, So it just we're naturally artistic family. So
Yeah.
it wasn't weird for me. I started writing songs when I was 12, playing the
Sure.
guitar when I was 10. So painting. So it's just.
So you paint too?
Yeah, but I'm totally stuck right now. I haven't, like any practice,
Yeah,
you gotta
yeah.
kind of do it. So I've been focusing now into the music. I have for a long time. I dropped it about 10 years ago, and then I decided to go into other things,
Yeah,
write a book,
yeah.
become a monk, and then came back into music.
I can't wait to talk
lately.
about that. But anyway, I'm going to get there later. Yeah.
And now I'm back as a DJ. I mean, I used to DJ 25 years ago.
Yeah.
I was one of the first guys to bring the kind of the rave scene here. So I've done a lot of stuff. I'm kind of giving away my age.
I was about to say, when did all of this happen and what haven't you done? Are you like the type to say, you know what, if it comes to head, listen, I'm going that direction?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a doer, not really much of a talker. I go with the flow.
Yeah.
That's kind of my
Your vibe.
My vibe, and whatever makes my heart happy, I'll follow. So if I feel like music is making me happy now and kind of giving me that thing that my soul is craving, I'll do it.
How do you know what your soul is craving? How does that feel like?
You have that little voice inside you that always talks to you. You've got the naughty one, and
Yeah.
like this one calls me a lot.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think if you learn to listen, you will be guided to where you need to be. And if you drop your fear, because that's fears or love is what's going to guide us. If you choose love, it becomes very loud. So when you don't have any fear, you're not afraid to fail. You just do whatever you need to do. So I just been living like that throughout my life.
Do you have fear? Do you still have fear, or have you learned to live with it and embrace fear?
Well, it's your teacher.
Okay.
It's there all the time.
Yeah,
in
you're
everything. If you don't have fear, I think you'll
There's
be
no
a
more
fool.
life. Yeah.
It's but you go with a voice of love or the voice of fear, and which one are you going to choose, right? I mean, it's a simple choice. Life is really simple. So I always decide to go here. Okay, let's go here.
Let's go with
because
love.
that's not going to fail you. That little
love
voice
that.
that instinct. Every time I don't hear to my instinct, I something happens. Even tells you like, listen, man, don't drive today. And
It's as simple as that.
to
Yeah.
me it is.
Yeah.
The moment I do it, I crash my car.
Sure.
It's that strong. It's
Sure.
your compass. So I've learned to listen to it. I learned to make it quite clear, and it's fun. It's fun.
I call it the Holy Spirit. I think everyone has a different name for it. And the more you listen, the louder it gets. And the more you ignore it, the more you start to miss life. I think that's kind of how you operate, that you have to continue to listen so that you can be able to navigate your life.
It's expensive not to listen. Let me tell you.
That's a bomb right there.
So like it's a natural thing. It's the right choice. And when you don't do it, I find that, well, the hard lessons come that way. Sometimes you need to get to those lessons, but sometimes you don't have to when you listen to that. So I've just learned to navigate life that way in a way.
What's the hardest lesson you've ever had to learn?
Gosh, geez, good question. So I'll be completely open. I went into a relationship with somebody who was married.
Oh.
So yeah, big lesson, and yeah. So
what was the lesson in that?
oh gosh, not to do that, of course. Not to not to start love from a position of pain or hurt. You can never do that. It'll never work in your favor. So make you wiser, of course, and yeah, that was the biggest, most painful lesson I learned. But that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah,
to go on this journey and to do things. So like that, yeah.
And I know in situations like that, we might think that, oh, you need forgiveness from the other person. But I think most importantly, you need to forgive yourself.
Correct.
How hard was that, getting to a place of forgiving yourself and realizing it's just another lesson?
It took me 6 months. I probably cried for 6 months.
Sure.
Like straight, like just to get this thing over. Because I thought that was going to be my wife. Funny enough.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't want to laugh.
Man, like,
you thought someone's wife was going to be your wife?
It's crazy how in love you are, how blind you get.
Yeah.
You know, like, they say blinded by love.
Yeah,
and
literally.
And there's actually the literal one. When I was living in Peru, my nanny, there was a guy, the gardener for my granddad. He fell in love with my nanny, and he actually went blind.
What do you mean?
He went physically blind. So the whole love blind it happens literally.
Yeah,
it's a physical thing.
I can't believe it.
And she rejected him, so he lost his sight, and then the sight came back a month later.
Xavier, this sounds too much like a fairy tale.
It is so true.
Truth.
It's the truth.
Did you witness this or you heard?
I was a little boy, but my parents told me the other day, and like, remember that gardener Lorenzo? Yeah. He lost his eyes because he went in love with this woman. But going back to the point, I was so blinded by this love that I went for it, and I made the most silliest thing. But I mean, that was like the biggest lesson of my life.
Yeah.
And but I'm here, a wiser person, and so you learn. I think those really hard ones, just
those are the best, though.
Right?
And I think those really carry you, because when you speak like that, I'm thinking of my biggest mistakes, and I'm thinking, had those not happened, I probably wouldn't be sitting here with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so you learn to, I think pain breaks you, I guess. So it really cracks you open, because we all have layers.
Yeah.
And we're like onions, and that peel a lot of my layers. And that would never happen again. I can tell you that.
Yeah. We hope so.
Oh no, gosh. Jeez.
Yeah.
But when you're there, it's so painful. You think you're never going to get out of it.
Yeah.
But time heals everything.
Yeah.
And wisdom as well. You grow so wise from it. And I always say to myself, I wonder where I'll be in a year from now. I wonder if this will hurt a year from now. And it doesn't. And every year becomes better. And but yeah, I mean, thank God for those lessons.
My spiritual mother calls it, when I was going through a painful journey, she showed me a scar, an old scar, and she said, you see the scar? And she told me the whole story about how it happened. And she said, at some point it was so painful, I didn't know how it was going to close up, but now I look at it and now I'm telling you a story.
It's beautiful. I mean, we all heal. I mean, that's how we're made as humans, and those scars just make us who we are, just battle scars, and those are beautiful though. In Japan, when you break an old, like a vase, and you patch it together, that patchwork is seen as beautiful.
Sure.
I don't know what the word is in Japanese, but it's such a beautiful concept that you can put things together back from the broken, and that brokenness has beauty and is even more beautiful than the original piece. Isn't that amazing?
I love that.
Me too.
I love that.
I love Japan anyway. So
what has travel taught you? Travel and photography, because I feel like it goes hand in hand.
They do. I've been traveling my whole life. I mean, my family has been traveling. We immigrants, so we arrived here 30 years ago, and we move. I mean, a lot. So I lived in maybe 10 countries, visited about 45 countries. Sure. So I've been traveling my whole life.
Yeah.
Gosh, what you never come back the same. Like from each travel.
With every single visit, you're a different person.
100%. Why would you be the same?
Good
Right,
question.
right.
Good question.
I mean, who doesn't want to change? I mean, that's the whole purpose of
Funny
living.
story. A lot of people are afraid of change. I think it's only
Yeah.
when you start embracing the idea of change, then you're like, actually, I'm open to that. But when you close off to it, it's very hard for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, change is a status quo because even our bodies right now are changing and are moving. Everything in you right now, it's evolving.
Changing. Yeah.
So that is a natural state of life. It's evolving. It's changing. It's growing. And we think that everything is static. Even this is moving. So
Yeah.
isn't that beautiful that
Yeah.
that change is the normal? So
Sure.
if you embrace it, you're evolving quicker. And at least that I think is how I see the world. I wanna self-realize. That's my purpose in life. Is to self-realize as a human being in every way, less physically, more spiritually.
Yeah.
So when I travel, I feel like that is going towards my evolution
purpose.
and my purpose. So that's why I travel so much. So everything most of the stuff I earn, it goes in traveling. So before
Do you have a
COVID,
house?
I did until 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So, before COVID, I was probably out of my house 3 to 4 months a year.
Yeah. That's
a lot,
ridiculous.
isn't it?
That's
It's
ridiculous.
crazy.
Yeah, you live in your bag. And
Yeah,
when
basically.
you travel, do
Yeah.
you fully immerse yourself in the culture? Do you if people are sleeping on the floor, is that what you're doing? If we barefoot, if we're shaving our hair, have you ever had to like shave off your hair? Anything like that?
Yes. So I go with the flow because the thing is that the only thing that you have right now is this moment. There is no past.
I feel like I'm having a moment because yesterday.
There is no future, right?
Yeah.
It's right now. I
Yeah.
mean, your future is determined by what you do right now. But there's no such thing. We don't remember our childhood because it never existed. It was
Yeah,
right.
I get
You were there in that time, and you're there here right now. So when you travel and you have that mentality, I think you become so into that moment that you become the travel. You become the journey. So if I need to sleep in, I'll do it. Right?
That's the moment. That's what exists in that moment.
Yes, that's the most important thing. So it's not about the destination; it's about the traveling.
Sure.
So I've been doing that since I can remember, I guess, since I was a kid.
Have you read the book by Matthew McConaughey? Are you a reader?
I'm listening now. So
Okay.
I'm into audiobooks.
Yeah. Have you
but
listened to it?
I heard it's brilliant.
You
No.
have to listen to it because you mentioned something about it's not about the destination, it's about the travel. And he writes in his book that he wanted to go to the Amazon, right? And he was so focused on getting to the Amazon and saying, I'm at the Amazon, that he missed the entire journey.
Oh, no.
It's
Okay.
only when he embraced where he was in that moment that he was like, actually, there's so much in front of me that I've missed because I was so focused on the destination.
I guess another lesson, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the beauty of it. I think, I don't think I'll ever stop traveling. I mean, I've been to so many countries, probably 45, like
Sure.
I mentioned earlier. And each one is different. Each one is an experience. Each one I would do so again. But my kind of policy was to never kind of come back to a country that I've been already. So always go to something new.
Okay.
Always discover something new that's going to
I'm
surprise you.
I'm iffy about food. I'm a very picky eater. So how do you navigate that when you see? Because I eat with my eyes, so I don't know how you do it. So when you see that, this is not my culture. This is not my type of food. What do you do? Do you just set yourself aside and say, you know what? I just need to give my body something.
Like, what is the weirdest thing you've eaten?
I had to eat. Okay, it's not weird, but it's weird for me.
Yeah.
A slaughtered chicken. The chicken was slaughtered in my house.
Okay. So
Yeah.
right there, but that was fresh.
I hated it.
How was it?
Terrible.
Is it?
I cried. Well, I was like 13, but
Okay.
I cried.
Like we had a pet lamb once in my house. We called it McDonald's. This is back in Peru. So my dad came because my dad used to work in Imanas. My dad's a mining engineer.
Okay.
So he's traveled to the mountains, and
Yeah.
sometimes people to say thank you from communities used to give him like a sheep.
Oh, okay.
And he used to come with the sheep in the car, you know. And we had it in the house in the back, and we loved this McDonald's, you know. It was a little baby, and then like a month later we came back and like, okay, McDonald's, where are you, baby? And like crickets, you know, there was nothing, and then I see the pot. It's like you know, like, Dad,
Is that my pet?
where is our pet? And my mother's like, oops, you know. So, but talking about food, you know, I've eaten probably the weirdest things you can imagine.
I can.
But you know, like raising from Peru and coming from Peru,
Yeah.
we drank tap water from the tap. We,
Yeah.
you know, the things that like here the water is super clean.
Yeah.
I'm talking back in the 80s and 70s, right?
Yeah.
So we ate stuff from the street. So I think my immune system is way stronger than
Okay.
many other people.
Yeah.
Like I know friends from South Africa came to Peru to visit me, and they will drink the water or sometimes eat the food, and they get so sick. Like I go to India, I eat the chaat, which is like the food from the street,
Yeah.
and I don't get
You're
sick.
fine.
I'm fine. So like it's yeah. I guess my
It's
immune
got to
system
do
is.
with your upbringing.
I think so. Yeah.
Sure. And when something is not tasty, because Brendan, my husband, always says food is fellowship. For some people, food is all that they have. So when you go to the less fortunate countries and they give you food with so much joy, and in your mouth it's just like, do you pull a face and just go?
They just eat it, eh? I mean, I've eaten. I mean, like anything. I'm just types of. I mean, I ate a rat once, serpents.
Sorry?
Like in Peru, we eat cuy. Cuy is a guinea pig. Those cute little things that you kind of have in your house.
Yeah.
In the mountains, we eat them, and you pick your one. So like the little
You're
one
just
with the
like,
little
"That's my supper."
spots. That's breakfast.
Oh my goodness.
You know, and you deep fried, and it comes into your plate, and it's like
oh my
like this.
Wait.
You know,
Oh, okay.
with your potatoes and stuff. So we eat. You know,
So you eat anything. That's
anything.
just your culture.
Really, it is. I mean,
Sure, that's interesting.
I think it's not really my culture. It's just I'm open-minded.
Okay.
And it's often offensive.
Yeah.
Not to eat stuff
Yeah.
that you know. So I'm really open-minded, not scared of anything.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, what's the wildest thing you've had to do in travel? I was listening to Deepak Chopra yesterday, and he was talking about he went to be a monk at like 50 years old or 60 years old, like recently, and he had to shave off he did it for a month. He had to shave off his hair, and then he had to beg on the street. I didn't know that's what monks do. I don't know if that's the specific program he was on, but I mean, that's wild. He's a rich man, and he had to resort to cutting his hair, and maybe resort is a bad word, but he had to go cut his hair and beg on the street, and he said it was such a humbling and beautiful experience.
So you're just reminding me today because I was thinking of actually shaving my hair on the way here. And
That would have been interesting.
yeah, I think I would have. I don't mind. I have no attachment to my hair, so it would be easy for me to just cut it off. And now you just reminded me of this, so it's almost like, what is
Maybe it's
going
a
on
sign.
here? You know,
Those signs, yeah.
yeah, so maybe I'll just do it. So when let's tell me my story. So when I was a musician, I was signed to a record label. This is in about 2001, around there. So I was doing music, singing, composing. And at that time, what became my photographic studio was at my parents' house in Emarentia. He had a big cottage over there. But at that time, that was my music studio. So I had a piano there and all my stuff for recording. And I used to go there and just spend time by myself and write music. And I was writing a song one day. And then I remember that my mother has been praying every Wednesday for the last almost 30 years. We've been in South Africa. So her prayer group is like almost like a home away from home from all the Latinas that come to South Africa to immigrate.
Yes.
So let's say they marry a South African guy, they move back here, and they don't have a family anymore. So that prayer group becomes a family for them. So my mom is like a mother to all these women that live in South Africa. Whether they're older or younger, she's kind of the center of the community. So when somebody arrives in this country, they say, go and meet Vilna. She's a prayer group on Wednesdays, and you'll socialize and meet people like you, and then force those kind of, you know, friendships and memories.
Yeah.
So on that Wednesday, I'll be busy writing a song, and then usually the cottage or the studio's doors were open, so you could come in. And when you write, you know, you're loud and you kind of get into the moment. And when I turned around, there was a Buddhist monk sitting on the floor in lotus position. And she was looking at me, and you know, like, and she said to me, "That's a very nice song." So I said, "Okay, thank you. Who are you? Where you come from?" You know, and she said, "My name is Mohini," and you know, and I found out that she's a Buddhist monk that did a lot of Chinese medicine and acupuncture, and she was dealing with people that had cancer, and she was doing alternative medicine. She is a doctor,
Yeah.
but she was doing that, practicing
traditional,
the
yeah.
traditional, and especially the Buddhist, actually Tibetan medicine. So a lot of
Okay.
that Tibetan medicine, it is done with your urine. So you urinate, and from the smell, color, and properties of the urine, someone can tell you what's wrong with your body.
Really?
It's amazing.
It's
So-
actually, sorry, it's actually crazy because in our tradition, when you have something in your eye, when you've got like a growth in your eye, your parents will tell you to take urine and put it in your eye.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's funny how ancient wisdom works differently than us.
Connects, yeah.
And so she was there, and she said, I said to her, well, what are you doing here? She said, well, one of my mother's friends that came to pray, they were praying for her to fall pregnant. She had been trying unsuccessfully to have a child for many years. So they heard that she was in the country, and they kind of got a hold of her and brought her to the prayer group. She was born in South America, so she was born, her parents were Buddhist, but she obviously knows about Christians and anyway, so she was left at a monastery in Tibet when she was very, very young. I think she was 7 or 8 years old, and the parents left her as almost offering to Buddha.
Sure.
And she grew up in a monastery with only males. So she
Sure.
was the only female monk. And she was in South Africa to do those kind of treatments. Anyway, so she was trying to get her to fall pregnant. Unfortunately, our friend still didn't fall pregnant. I think it was a serious case or something happened that they tried every medicine possible, and even with her stuff. But she said to me, I think you need to come with me. And she almost felt like I needed something in my life where I needed to leave the music industry, and I wasn't happy with a lot of things. I've always been a seeker anyway, and I felt like I needed to leave with her. And so I told my record label, who wasn't very happy, that I was leaving my record label, and they couldn't force me to write songs
Yeah.
and to perform. And anyway, and they said, they knew me anyway, and the owner was a friend of mine. He said, do you crazy? Just do your thing, man. Just leave us, So anyway, I left with her.
So was it an instant, okay, let me pack my bags and go, or it was, let me think about it, let me sort my stuff out, and then I'll get back to you?
Again, like my heart
Okay.
tells me everything. So
Okay.
I just know what to do in a way. And I left very soon after that. So I sold a lot of my stuff. So I had my car, my guitar, my computer, and some clothes. And I left. Anyway, so she had a little ashram in Raslo, which is between Joburg and Pretoria, like Centurion side, in those plus, like those little
Yeah.
plus keys, whatever. And there was the garage was full of stuff, and people were making things in the garage. So they cleared one of the rooms. We took all the hay out, and I had no bed. So I slept on a Persian rug, which
Yeah.
was a bit too thick. I had a pillow, and that was it. And I started to kind of
Be a monk.
be a monk and teach. And so I had a routine every morning.
I'm interested in your routine.
So you wake up, you meditate at 3 to 4 in the morning, and it was kind of March, so it's getting into the April winter thing. And then you do yoga, and then you go into the water of the pool for an hour in the morning. And then
What time in the morning?
Like early, like 7 in the morning.
It's still cold and you
It
in
was
the pool.
it was okay in March,
Okay.
but it wasn't okay when you go to like later on in the year. And then you do like bamboo yoga, and then there was a trampoline as well. So on the trampoline, I had to go for an hour and jump. So the first week was torturous because your calves and you use muscles that you never use.
Yes.
So, geez, like for
For an hour in the same spot.
yeah, because it helps your
mental.
concentration.
Oh my.
And as you get more experience,
Yeah.
I had to do pirouettes and then go higher. But what you do is you jump and you kind of turn around, and then when you turn your body around, you look at a tree that was in front of you, and you had to do it for an hour. So eventually you got to a point where you're so focused that you could close your eyes and take a dartboard and like go, and you bullseye, bullseye, bullseye.
Are you serious? When does that happen? Does that happen when you let go of the idea of pain and the idea of, oh, I have to do this for an hour? Or
Yes.
do you think it's like a practice thing? Like, when do you get to that moment when you realize, oh, this is natural to me now?
I think because often, your teachers don't want to tell you what they want to teach you. They just teach you, and you
You just have to do it.
you do
Is
it.
it like the Karate Kid?
In a way, it is.
Okay.
You know, I think she was trying for me to find the wisdom inside myself. So I think that those exercises was just exercise of focus, of a single purpose, tunnel vision, and do it so much time that eventually becomes your second nature.
Yeah.
That when you close your eyes, I can still see it.
Yeah.
I close
Yeah.
and it's there.
Yeah.
So in a way that teaches you to, for me, it's discipline.
I
Right?
agree. Agreed.
So,
and I feel like
yeah.
you've carried that into your photography because I've watched you when you take pictures. I've never seen someone so fully immersed in the moment and focused. It comes from that place.
I think so. Everything in your life becomes that thing. And you often don't think about it, but like everything that I do, I'm so immersed in the moment that there's nothing else in the world. So everything
Sure.
is everything is fun. You become like a kid,
Yeah.
you know, where the enjoyment of life is that very second where there's no judgment. It's like when you watch kids play. They're not judging what they're doing. They're just having fun, right? So there's no present, there's no past. It's just a task that you have ahead. And it's nice that you just maybe remembered that even when I work, I don't even notice.
Yeah.
I'm so lost in the moment
Yeah.
that it is pleasurable. It is fun. It is what
Sure.
you're meant to do. Yeah.
What's the hardest lesson you learned there?
In the ashram, this is gonna sound weird. Like so weird. People are gonna think I'm just
Go
like
for
this
it.
weirdo. No.
Go for it, please. We're
I've
vulnerable.
never told this in public.
We're vulnerable.
Well, I'm okay with that. You know,
Yeah.
I'm okay with. I used to see fairies.
How do fairies look?
They're just beings of light. I think when your soul is so pure,
Sure.
you see things that like I wouldn't see that fairy now. I can tell you that. But I used to see this beings of light in the garden. And
Sure.
yeah, so I think my soul was so pure at the time and so focused on seeking that your heart just becomes that.
You were really inclined spiritually.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, now I've changed so much. I've become a little more cynic. When you start your journey, you're so into it that you're so focused on it that miracles happened often. Not that they wouldn't happen now, but I think
I hear what you're
I've
saying.
learned so much from life that I become less
Aware.
innocent. And I think innocence makes you see things like that. I think I'm great to where I am now. I don't want to be there because that was part of my journey.
Yeah.
But your heart sees so many things in that time, and it was great then. It's cool, you know.
When did you know it was time to leave?
I guess you just know. I mean, I wrote a book. I wrote my novel there.
I have to get your book.
Gosh, yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
I'll get a copy for you.
Thank you.
Because I think that it's hard to find it online.
Okay.
You know, books are
Yeah.
recyclable. Unless they sell millions and millions
Yeah.
and millions, you can't get them. I'll get you a copy. So that was one of the best things in my life was to write a book. Very lonely thing. I don't recommend it like often.
Really?
Yeah, it's hard.
Well, I do think it's a calling. I don't think
It
you can
is.
just wake up and decide, hey, that's what I'm doing.
It's hard work. It's because you spend so much time by yourself that in your thoughts that it's hard to be with other people. I think so. I don't know how people like parents write books.
Yeah,
Like
do anything.
I took me a year and a half, 6 months to write, and a year to rewrite. I probably rewrote it 8 times, and I traveled through Peru. I mean, just so much happened. I mean, she's one of the characters in my book, my teacher, my monk teacher. So that was special.
Sounds like it. It sounds
guys, I don't recommend it though. Don't write books.
You used to wake up. So we were talking earlier, and
Yeah.
we like hectic 5 a.m. club, like that's our thing. But you were like, I don't know how you guys do it. And I'm like, you used to wake up at 3. Why did you drop that? Did you decide I don't need that habit in my life where I am right now? I don't enjoy it? Because one thing that's terrible, it's lovely to have discipline, but it's the worst thing when it becomes your religion, where it just
Completely agree with you.
Okay.
The thing is that what you thought when you were 15, right now you probably laugh at it, right?
Yeah.
Right? And what you thought about maybe 5 years,
Even last year, it's like,
right?
oh, girl.
Because
Yeah.
we evolve,
Yeah.
we grow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fun part of life, isn't it?
Yeah.
So going back to that, like, yeah, I mean, we always changing. And we and even like I think, okay, like I could have wrote things differently in my book, but I don't want to wake up at 3 a.m. right now. Like I'm not even close to that. Like I've done
No
it, man.
desire.
Nothing, zero
Yeah.
desire. And and right now, like I'm so happy with my life that I don't want to. I think once you do that
Yeah.
and once you experience that, it is always a part of you.
Okay.
I could.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
I could wake up
Yeah.
3 a.m. for the whole year.
Yeah.
I have the discipline. I've been through it. I pay
Yeah.
my dues. Now I
Yeah.
can.
Okay,
So now I
love
don't
that.
have-
You
I don't-
paid
I don't
your
have-
dues.
I don't
You don't
have to
have
do it
to.
anymore.
You
It's
don't.
part of me.
Yeah, sure, special. What's your spiritual practice? I know your belief system is rooted in Christianity,
100%.
but you and I both not religious. We've had this conversation. So how do you define your spiritual practice?
Gosh, I love to learn from different masters. So
Okay.
to me, God is like a wheel. So where every different masters are the cog to that wheel, because you can only go to one place. If you take all the principles of all the masters and you kind of make it into the smallest denominator. The bottom, there's God, right? There's one
Yes,
God. One
yes.
God created all
Everything,
mankind.
yeah.
But what is God? It's love,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
So
That's it.
That's it. So my religion is love. That's
My
it.
religion is love.
Everything I do is towards finding that love and that connection with God. Whether it's my photography, whether it's my breathing,
Sure.
whether it's me driving, whether everything
I love
that I
that.
do is to find God.
Sure.
So you live in a constant state of finding that, seeking that love.
So for you, it's not about sitting, as important as it is to have that time, it's not about sitting in a corner and saying, this is my spiritual practice. Everything you do is your spiritual practice, because everything you do comes from a place of love, and that's where you're trying to be.
What do you have to say anything? Like, words are meaningless. Words mean nothing.
Yeah.
Words are just letters. It's all about a feeling,
Got it.
right?
Yeah.
It's about a feeling. So even when I drive, I'm thinking of a God. I'm thinking about love. I'm breathe the whole day. I love to teach people how to breathe. So that's, to me right now, the breathing is the most important part of my life. How do I connect with God? When I breathe, I go deeper in a connection with love. So through your breathing, you can experience God 100 times stronger than, it's like a prayer. Breathing is prayer that you do with your body. So unless you haven't breathed the way that we do sometimes, it's hard for people to understand how deep your connection with God is. It's almost, you get tears in your eyes.
Sure.
Because breathing, even the word breathing and the word like inspiration,
Yeah.
inspire, all come from Latin words and from very ancient words that says breathing is experience with God. So people don't know about breathing enough. That's our thing. It
We
is
don't.
amazing. It
I
is
can imagine.
every morning. That's my religion.
Yeah.
That's my practice.
Sure. Is there healing in breathing?
Oh gosh, yeah. So let me put it this way. How many weeks you can go without food? 2, 3? How many
I
days you
don't
can go
know.
without water? 4? How many minutes can you go without breathing?
0.
So we're not thinking. We breathe so shallow that we get stressed. We don't think enough because we're not breathing. Once you're angry, what do?
Yeah.
The opposite, right?
Yeah.
Instead of every time you're about to make a decision, and often that is a decision that you make out of anger, breathe. Take 10 seconds to breathe. So there's many ways of breathing, and that's what I'm trying to. I'm still
I
kind of.
didn't even know that there's many. I just know inhale, exhale, and that's it.
So let me show you something.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put my throat to the microphone.
Okay.
And this is called ocean breathing.
Okay.
Okay. And ocean breathing, if you do that for a minute,
Yeah.
it's gonna kind of center you so much, and it's
Okay.
so easy. So it's let me put it this way: it's almost like when a dog pants, it's like, if you do that and then you close your mouth, you breathe very deeply. So it's like, ocean.
Sure.
Try it. So do that panting of the dog and then close your mouth and you'll see how much oxygen gets into your lungs. Okay? Now close your mouth and now reduce the speed. Can you feel that?
That's incredible.
Isn't that
Incredible.
amazing?
Incredible.
Imagine doing
I've
that
never
for
felt
a
that
minute.
before. Never, ever.
You allowing, if you put that little machine on your hand that sees the oxygen level in your blood, let's say you're at 95, do that for a minute, it'll go to 98% oxygen. So you just oxygenize your blood by 5% in 60 seconds.
I get what you mean when you say it makes you want to cry.
It is
I get what you mean when you say breathing will make you want to cry.
insane how close to love you get to this
Yeah.
thing. So what I do is, well, my breathing is a little bit hectic, but you got to start at
Somewhere.
somewhere.
Yeah.
So I'm in a place where I take my oxygen levels so low. So your normal oxygen levels should be 95 to 98% saturation of your blood oxygen. I take mine down to 40%, to levels where
Yeah.
it's
There's nothing there.
very dangerous.
Yeah.
You can pass out. But you do it in a way that is controlled, where the reptile part of your brain goes, oops, you need oxygen to live, otherwise you'll die. So what it does is it almost secretes a hormone that tells your body, I don't want to die. That is like a growth hormone. So you get more, you grow more blood cells.
Yeah.
You grow more oxygen.
Is that the healing part of
That's
it?
the healing part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just the physical part of it.
Yeah.
When you go into that state of controlled hypoxia, your mind expands. It's like if you close your eyes, you can feel the universe with you as an experience, as a oneness. You start hearing the birds more.
Yeah.
You start feeling more.
You're present.
You're so present.
You're very present.
And your brain is so focused that is nothing else. How can you connect with God when there's hoots outside, people are banging cell phone
We live
there?
in such loud times. Yeah. Thank you, Xavier. This was so much fun.
Thank you.
You're amazing. You're a sport. And I want to book you for breathing sessions. Do you do breathing sessions for people?
I do.
Do you?
Yeah, I know.
Ah.
I'm busy at doing that. I'm thinking how to get it to people and on a mass scale. So I think maybe I should do an Instagram live.
Yeah.
Because I want to teach people how to build their lungs,
Yeah.
especially now during COVID.
Yeah.
And I want to be, that to me is my gift.
Yes.
I want to give something back this year.
Yeah.
And to give that knowledge without charging
Yeah.
would be, so I'm kind of working on it now.
I think if we can
Yeah.
even collaborate on it, work together on how we can put it
love
out
that.
there, I'm in, because I think it's such a precious, timeless. You can't even put money on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think let's do it. Actually, I love the collaboration
Okay,
thing.
we're gonna do that.
Yeah,
All right.
I think to your crowd and to your listeners.
Yeah, we'll do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
You've
Mpoomy.
been amazing.
Thank you.
High five.
You.